listening to the Badass is the New Black podcast. I'm Chrissy Chin, your host, here to teach you how to build an online business that you love and in a way that allows you to work a little bit less so you can enjoy a whole lot more. My hope is that you've showed up to today's episode ready to learn something new and will be inspired to take imperfect action in your business right away. I won't make you wait any longer. Let's dive in. Let's welcome Michelle Seiler Tucker. She is the founder and CEO of Seiler Tucker Incorporated. She holds the MNAMI, which is Mergers and Acquisitions Master Intermediary title, as well as Certified Mergers and Acquisitions Professional and Certified Senior Business Analyst. Michelle also owns many other businesses in several different industries. As a 20-year veteran in the M&A industry, she is regarded as the leading authority on buying, selling, fixing, and growing businesses. Her and her firm have sold over 1,000 businesses in almost every vertical and have a remarkable track record of success. Michelle, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Chrissy, for having me.
I am excited to have you here because this is a topic that I don't think a lot of people kind of in this space, coaches, course creators, people with digital products, think about selling their business at some point, but it's possible, right?
It absolutely is possible. And it's not just the online marketers that don't think about selling their business. It's almost every business owner doesn't really think about selling their business until they have to. Steve Forbes, who endorsed my book, Exit Rich, he says 8 out of 10 businesses will not sell. 80% will not sell. And the main reason for that is because business owners don't really think about selling their business until they have to due to a catastrophic event occurring, whether that's internal or external. Internal meaning health issues, partner disputes, divorce, death. External is this pandemic we're in. And the worst time to sell your business, Chrissy, is during a catastrophic event. The best time to sell your business is when your business is doing well and it's in its prime. That's when everybody wants to hold on to it when it's in its prime. But you really should start what I call your STGPS exit model from day one of starting or buying your company. And you really should plan for your most valuable asset. Business owners really have to start changing their mindset. They have to stop thinking of their business as their baby. And they have to stop thinking about, I'll never sell it because I love it forever. Nothing lasts forever. What goes up must come down. And businesses, unfortunately, go out of business every single day. So you really need to build your most valuable asset so you can sell for your desired sales price when you're ready. And so you actually build a business that somebody wants to buy. That's the number one. That's the number two reason the businesses don't sell is because business owners never really built anything that a buyer wants to buy.
Right.
And that's where the 6 Ps, the infrastructure, building your business to run on all 6 cylinders, all 6 Ps comes in that we also talk about in my book, Exit Rich.
Yeah. Really interesting. Of course, like the worst time to sell your business is when it's going down. I'm just picturing Shark Tank and they ask them to, okay, let's get into the numbers. What are your numbers? And they're like, we're like having a dip in sales. They're like, why would I want to invest in your business when it's going down, right? Same idea and concept. Why would I want to buy your business when it's going down?
Right.
Unless the reason it was going down is something that whoever is purchasing it or investing in it knows they can turn it around, right? But that's probably not likely the case.
No, there's 5 different types of buyers, and one type is turnaround specialists, and they buy distressed assets, but you're never going to maximize value and get the highest price if your business is going down. And then also these business owners, inventors on Shark Tank also have unrealistic expectations of what they think their business is worth. Never has a shark said, you actually undervalued your business.
Right.
They always say you've overvalued your business almost every single time. And that's the same thing selling businesses. A business owner says, I want $20 million for my business. And I'll ask them, how did you come up with 20 million? Your EBITDA is 100,000. And I'll say, well, that's what I need to retire on. The buyer doesn't care about what you need.
Right.
They could care less about what you need. They care about what the value is to them. So that's why, Chrissy, I walk everybody through what I call the STGPS exit model. Number one, and let's just go through that real quick. Number one is determine, Chrissy, if you want to drive somewhere in Atlanta, what do? You pull out your phone, you go to Google Maps, and what's the first thing you plug in? which is your destination, right?
Right.
Your destination. So business owners don't have a destination. They have no idea where they're going. So they drive around in circles, drive up and down the financial hills to end up broke or end up exiting poor. So your destination. So all business owners right now should stop, get a piece of paper and pick a number. And let's say you want to sell your business for $10 million. Great. That's a number. You know, a lot of business owners get hung up on the number. Like, I don't know where to start. Just pick a number. So let's say your destination is $10 million. Then what does the GPS need to know? It needs to know where you're starting from. What is your current location? In other words, what is your current evaluation? What is your business worth today? Now, Chrissy, most business owners have never, ever gotten a business evaluation. I've been in this industry 20 years, sold over 1,000 companies. My company has sold over 1,000 companies. Most business owners have no idea what their business is worth. They never get a business evaluation. You know, we go to the doctor once a year to get a physical annual checkup to make sure our heart's still ticking, we're still kicking. We take our car to the mechanic to make sure we get an annual tune-up, but we never get an annual valuation checkup. That's financial suicide. There are events like this pandemic that can increase value and decrease value. So every year you need to know what your business is worth. So let's say you want to sell for 10 million and today you're worth $1 million. Then the next thing you need to know in a GPS exit model is time frame. Let's say you want to do this in 10 years. So now you know I want to sell for $10 million. I'm currently worth $1 million. I want to do this in 10 years. The next thing you need to know is buyers. Who are my buyers going to be? And what do buyers look for in purchasing a $10 million company? There's 5 types of buyers. First-time buyers are number one. 90% of buyers are first-time buyers. They're not going to buy your $10 million company. They buy small businesses. Turnaround specialists are number 2. They buy distressed assets. They don't buy $10 million companies. So then you got private equity groups that buy based upon platforms and add-ons. And so if they want to buy a platform, they're not even going to look at you unless you have at least $3 million in EBITDA. Mm-hmm. If they want to buy an add-on, then they'll look at less than $1 million in EBITDA. So they buy based on platforms and add-ons. Do you understand what platforms and add-ons are?
I think so, but why don't you explain it in case someone.
So let's say we got a manufacturing business for sale and they want to be in food manufacturing and they've never been in food manufacturing. So they're looking to get in a platform of food manufacturing. They won't even consider that platform, at least it's $3 million to $5 million in EBITDA. Mm-hmm. But let's say they're already in food manufacturing. So now they're looking for an add-on. And maybe we have a seasoning company for sale. So that's congruent to their food manufacturing business. So they'll look at an add-on for less than $1 million in EBITDA. Then you have strategic competitors as a fourth type of buyers. And strategics and competitors, they usually pay the highest multiple of EBITDA because they're buying synergies. They're buying synergies that are going to catapult their current business to the next level, like contracts, databases, branding, patents, you know. And then you have the last type of buyer, which is a serial entrepreneur, sophisticated buyer. They are industry agnostic. They chase EBITDA. They chase cash flow. So those are your 5 types of buyers. If you're trying to sell a company for $10 million, you're not going to sell the first time or turnaround specialist. So you'll sell the private equity, strategic competitor, or sophisticated. Mm-hmm. And then you need to reverse engineer your plan and say, okay, where do the numbers have to be? If I want to sell for $10 million, where's my gross revenues have to be? Where's my EBITDA need to end up? EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So your EBITDA needs to be between 1 to 2 million, 1.5 to 2 million, depending upon your synergies. Then you have to ask yourself, gosh, these 3 types of buyers, what do they look for? What synergies are they buying? What are they willing to pay top dollar for? And then you build to meet their specific needs. It's kind of like, Chrissy, how business owners start up business. The first thing they do is they say, okay, I'm going to sell this widget. Who is my ideal target market for this widget? Mm-hmm. It's not everybody, right?
Right.
And then they ask, okay, well, what's my customer acquisition cost going to be? What are these buyers looking for? And that's how you start a business. That's how you enter the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Same thing for selling your company. Identify who that buyer is going to be, reverse engineer it, and then figure out what they're looking for and build to meet their specific buying criteria.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking about, I talk a lot about ideal client avatar. Who is that person? And I was thinking,
Right.
like, that's exactly what you're thinking. It's
And
just
this is your avatar to buy your business.
right. Exactly. It's just a
Right.
totally different, instead of your buyer to buy your product, it's literally the buyer to buy your company.
Right. And this plan should be started from day one of buying or starting your business. So once you figured out the financials, where your financials need to be, then you need to build the business to operate on what I call all 6 Ps and start building that avatar synergies. Okay. The last step in a GPS exit model is your why. Nothing gets done without a big enough why.
Mhm.
If you have children and you want them to do something, you have to create a why to get them to do it. But here's the bottom line. If it was easy to sell a $10 million business, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to have a powerful why. It's got to be, it's got to keep you motivated. It's got to keep you weathering all the different financial storms that will come your way to keep you in the game. If it was easy to sell a $10 million company, everybody would be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I never really thought about selling, my business. And for my listeners, they know that I've got Grow Workspace, providing marketing material for network marketers in specifically Young Living. And then I have like my personal coaching brand, which I've created courses for and things like that. And I never really thought about selling a business because they kind of just happened I don't want to say by accident, because there was a lot of work that got put into it. But it just sort of evolved naturally. And my husband works in private equity. So, he's very familiar with this space and it's like, why don't you sell,
So your husband's a peg, not a pig, a peg, private
right,
equity
right.
group.
Yes, yes. Yeah. And so he's like, why don't you sell? I was like, well, I've never thought about it. And, even thinking like even you just going through those six, it was six, right? Yeah. I think
it's 5.
Yeah.
The GPS
Okay.
exit
Fine. The
model, 5
GPS
steps.
exit model, even
Mhm.
going through that, I'm thinking, gosh, yeah. Okay. That's so much clearer to me as to now what I would, if that was my plan, what I would need to think about if I wanted an exit strategy. And why, I'm just thinking of my audience, why would they want an exit strategy? If they're like me, I'm an ideas person. I've got lots of ideas, but I can't have 20 businesses unless I just have these massive teams. So for me, I love getting things started and, growing it and scaling it. But there might be a time where I'm like, okay, I'm ready for something else. Like I'm ready for something new. I have this new idea. And so that could be an opportunity to exit. So would you say that it's people now, even if they don't have any plan to exit their brand or business, do you think they should be thinking about it just in case?
I think they should, because nothing lasts forever. Businesses go through a business cycle just like humans go through a life cycle. It's called the life and business cycle. Humans die, businesses die. Nothing lasts forever. So here's the bottom line. Even if you don't sell your business, even if you don't exit your business, if you build a business that's sellable, that somebody wants to buy, it's going to be much more profitable, much more sustainable and scalable. So why not? I mean, I had a sweet little old lady call me the other day whose husband dropped dead from a heart attack, left her with a mountain of debt. She asked me, can you sell the business? I know nothing about the business, nothing about the franchise, the financials. And so I started asking her a few questions. I'm like, no, it's not sellable. He has no employees. He has no independent contractors. He has subcontractors only. And all the data that for the 45 years he ran the business is all in his head. When he died, the business died. So to me, it's a smart, prudent decision to build your business with the end in mind, to build your business to sell, because you will have a much more profitable business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But let's say you've been in your business for, people sell for different reasons. People sell for health issues, divorce, partner disputes, moving, business not doing well. You want to go out and create your next masterpiece. You want to do something different. You don't want to stay in one thing forever. But at the end of the day, if you don't build a business, all you've really built is a glorified job that you go to work at every day and you're calling it a business.
Yeah.
And that's what most business owners do, is they build a glorified job that they go work at every day, not a business that actually works for them. So when they go to sell it, it's not going to sell. And it becomes part of the 80% of businesses that don't sell because they never built a sellable business.
Mm-hmm.
So why not try to build a sellable business? It makes more sense that your biggest asset, which is usually your business, you should build to sell that, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I love automations. I love hiring help. I love teaching people how to hire help so that they're not doing everything. And that really rings in my head when you mentioned, his business died when he died. And I think about Grow Workspace. If I were to, get in a car crash and die, God forbid, I have an entire team of people working on this business, and really it could continue to thrive without me because I've set it up that way. And that was really actually more for lifestyle purposes so that I could have a lot more time to do other things that I enjoy doing. And so just thinking about that in, guys out there listening, when I talk about automations, when I talk about hiring help, building support around your business, that can also be really valuable, not only for lifestyle, but what Michelle's talking about, exiting your business if you need to, or if your spouse needs, to sell the business because God forbid you passed unexpectedly, or like you said, divorce or health things. We don't know what the future holds for us. So I think being prepared the best that you can is one of the smartest things that you can do for your family, right? So I love that. Let's get into, because you do have, this is where I knew 6 was coming from. You have the 6 Ps, how to build a sustainable, scalable, and sellable business. Do you want to give us a little insight on that?
Sure. So the number one reason that businesses are not sellable, we've already talked about that, is because business owners haven't built a business that somebody actually wants to buy. They built themselves a job. So the number one P is people. You don't build a business, you build people, and they build the business. Mm. And so entrepreneurs have to stop trying to control everything. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurs are control freaks. And they're like, if you want it done right, you have to do it yourself. No, if you want to build a sustainable business, you got to hire people to do it for you. So you need to focus on your strengths, hire your weaknesses, put the right people in the right seats, and then ask the who question. Who handles customer service? Who handles marketing, legal, accounting, manufacturing, logistics, technology, environmental? Who? All of your listeners should stop right now, take out a pen and paper, jot down all the who's in their business, and assign a name next to each who. The clue, Chrissy, is you should never be next to a who. Your name should never be next to the who, because you really want the business to run without you. Mm-hmm. Just like you said, you built your business or lifestyle, but you build your business to run without you. And something was to happen to you, your business could sustain itself. A lot of business owners can't say that. That is not the case. I had a dentist that came to me that wants to sell his business, 1 dentist, 3 dental hygienists, been in business 50 years. And I said, I can sell your business, but you're going to have to stay on for 2 to 3 years. Mm-hmm. And by the way, his dental hygienists are his family members. So when he leaves, they're leaving too. Sure. And he said, I'm not staying. I've had enough. I said, well, then you're not selling, because the minute you leave, your patients leave. Mm-hmm. So who is the people is so important. That's number 1. Number 2 is product. Product is your industry, your service, your product. Ask yourself, is your industry, your product on the way up or on the way out? Are you thriving or dying? Do you have an Amazon? You're in your prime, or do you have a Blockbuster and you're about to go bust? So a lot of industries were thriving before COVID and now dying, and vice versa. If your industry is about to go bust, that doesn't mean you just close up, go home. That means you ask yourself 3 transformational questions. Amazon did this back in the 90s. They asked themselves, what business are we in? And all of your listeners should be asking themselves, what business are we in? Then they should ask themselves, so Amazon did that. And they said, we're in a book selling business. We fulfill books. And then ask yourself, what's your core competency? What's your USP, unique selling proposition? What do you do better than everybody else? And Amazon said, we do fulfillment better than everybody else. The next obvious question is, what business should we be in? What should we be doing? Amazon said, we should be in a fulfillment business, not just fulfilling books. We should be fulfilling products for everybody, which is what they did. Those three simple questions is really what transformed Amazon from a small bookseller to a multi-billion-dollar worldwide conglomerate that they are today. Now, these questions sound easy. For a business owner to really answer these questions, a lot of times they need an outsider's perspective to do so.
Yeah. Yeah. Like any kind of, you need a coach for all the things. You don't know what you don't know until you know, right?
Yeah, but don't just hire any coach. Make sure you get a mentor who's been down the path you want to travel.
Well,
there's so many coaches out there that have never even owned the business before. So you want to make sure you hire a mentor like me. I've sold 1,000 businesses. You don't want to get a mentor to sell one.
No, exactly.
You want to make sure you get a mentor that has the right experience, the right skill sets to help you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm always, if you're going to hire a coach, you go you have a need and you find someone very specific to that. Like you said, someone who's been there, done that. If you're trying to scale your business to $1 million with digital products, you find someone who's done that before. If you are trying to build your business to sell it, you hire Michelle who's done that before, right? Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, totally. Okay, so we got through product.
So we got processes, and you mentioned it earlier, Chrissy, processes, systems. Look, you can't run a business without processes. You'll never be able to be sustainable. You'll never be able to scale. You'll never be profitable, really, if your processes aren't efficient. So here's the thing about processes. Most owners get this wrong, very wrong. And most owners really not. It's kind of like exit strategy. Most business owners don't think about exit strategy until they have to. They don't think about processes until something bad happens. We once had a client who had a manufacturing plant, and his employee got hurt on the manufacturing floor. It was catastrophic. Actually lost a limb. And so there were lawsuits coming down. He's going to file bankruptcy. And he said to me, he said, Michelle, I need a process for health and safety on a manufacturing floor. I'm like, you knew that. You really needed that before. Now it's too late. Yeah. So this is where business owners get it wrong too, is they design their processes around their own agenda, not around the customer experience. So let me explain. McDonald's. Did you ever watch the movie The Founder?
I did.
One of the best movies ever, right?
Yeah, so good.
So McDonald Brothers started McDonald's restaurant back in the 50s. And they said, we want to create a restaurant and we want to create a fast food system, processes around our customers' experience. We want our customers to experience great tasting food that's hot, fast, 30 seconds or less. Do you remember when they went out to the tennis courts and they drew out the processes and had all their employees bumping into each other, going around? Yeah. They spent like 9 hours at that tennis court. And one of the McDonald brothers was on a ladder, really, conducting, orchestrating everybody what to do and how to do it, till they had like a symphony of systems of processes that would deliver on their customer experience. So business owners have to stop for a minute and think about, what do you want your customers to experience? And then design the processes around that. That's what creates raving fans, happy clients. Most business owners get this wrong, Chrissy. They design the processes around their own agenda. Have you ever been to a doctor's office, chiropractor's office, and they're like, our hours are Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 12. We come back around 3 and work till 5. Tuesday and Thursday is this. We're never open evenings. We're never open on Saturdays.
Right. It's painful.
It is very painful, and you're already in pain. And the process makes it excruciating. And did they think about the patient's experience? No. They're thinking about their own agenda. How many times have you been on the phone with a bank or retailer, social media company, where you're trying, social media company, you can't even get somebody on the phone, where you're trying to get your problem solved, and you have to push all these different buttons to get to someone. Then you have to tell your story like 7 times to try to get it resolved, right? Has that ever happened to you?
Literally me a few days ago, just before closing on our lake house. This is such a big dream come true. And trying to do this thing. Why isn't my wire transfer going through? Why was it rejected? I literally got bounced to 7 different departments and no one could say anything. And I'm like, all right, I have to go into the bank. So I drove there and she goes, oh, you can't do wire transfers over X amount of dollars from home. And I said, well, that would have been really nice if someone would have just told me that on the phone. So first of all, they had no idea. It's like rookie move. But yeah, so been there, done that. It's like, come on,
the
people.
processes are designed to alienate you and really piss you off versus creating a happy wow experience for you.
Yeah.
And this is where most business owners mess up. So stop the process, go back to the basics, ask yourself, what do you want your clients to experience? And build your processes around those experiences. McDonald's did that in the 50s. And even though they've tweaked the processes along the way, no matter what McDonald's you eat at anywhere around the world, the experience is really the same.
Yeah.
So your processes have to be designed with the customer experience in mind, not on your own agenda. They must be productive, efficient, well-documented in the policy procedure manuals, SOP checklists, employee handbooks, non-compete agreements, employee contracts, etc. When you try to sell your company, you have to have this paper.
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's can also fire somebody at the front and rehire somebody within 30 minutes. They're up and running because they have the processes and systems in place.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's processes. Processes can make or break a company. It is a difference between creating happy and unhappy clients.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't create happy clients, your competitor will be happy to do it for you.
Yeah. Here's another example. So in Grow Workspace in our business, we've got membership platform, and there's different markets people can choose from. They can do all of the markets, add all of those, or they can pick just one if they're in Canada and they don't need the US content. Well, we did this whole entire website revamp. And one of the things is we had to add these products one by one each month, add them, remove them. And so we're like, okay, we want to simplify our process for our people on our team to make it more efficient. In doing that, we realized we really screwed up because now people couldn't add on 2 out of the 3 markets if they wanted. It was either all or one. And so then after realizing, people are like, well, I don't want that 3rd one. I want just these 2. I just want English and Spanish. I don't need Canada. Or I just want Canada and US English. I don't need Spanish. And we were like, ooh, we really screwed up. Like you said, we created this process to make our lives easier on the back end. And it really messed up the flexibility that our customers could have. And so now we're going backwards and we're saying, look, we need this for our customers. We need to make them happy. If they want 2 products and not 3, we need to give that to them, because when they do 2 products instead of 1, that's better for our business. And so we, decided, look, guys, it's just going to have to be really manual, 1 time a month for us on the back end. It's going to take a little bit more time. But like you said, the customer experience is going to be better, and the customer will buy more. Right.
The customer will buy more, plus they'll refer other happy customers. They're happy, so they're going to refer more customers to you.
Yep.
So you always got to look at what is the experience. Stop trying to design your processes around what's better for you.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
You're in business for yourself, yes, but you're really in business to service your clients.
Yes.
And if you don't service them, someone else will.
Love it. Okay.
And so then the next piece, so let's talk about business evaluations real quick. And I'm not really getting into business evaluations because that's a whole nother show. But businesses that have an EBITDA, again, EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, below $1 million, typically will trade for 1 to 3, maybe 4 if they got some synergies. Businesses over $1 million have a lot more buyers. There are more buyers for good businesses than there are good businesses to buy. So businesses over $1 million will trade for typically 5 and up, depending upon your proprietary assets. Mm-hmm. So the 4th P is proprietary. Proprietary assets can take you from a 4 multiple to a 6, a 5, 10, 8. Proprietary assets are the highest value driver of any other P. So there's 6 pillars to proprietary. Let me explain it real quick. Back in processes, when you design your processes around your customer experience to create happy, raving fans, every time you do that, you move up what I call the branding ladder. Every time you do the opposite, and upset a client, you move down the branding ladder. Do you know what the steps are in the branding ladder?
I don't.
Okay, I'll tell you really quickly because
Okay.
I know I've got about 10 minutes. But
Yes.
first and foremost, step one is brand absence. This is where most consumers don't know who you are and what you do. 95% of businesses live in brand absence.
Okay.
The next step is you go from brand absence to brand awareness. Brand awareness, at least they know who you are and what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go from brand awareness to brand preference. So when I go, I prefer to drink Diet Coke over Pepsi. Mm-hmm. Then you go from brand preference to brand assistance. I speak all over the country, or I did before this pandemic. And every time I stay at a hotel, I'm like, I take a Diet Coke. And they're like, is Pepsi okay? No, Pepsi is not okay. If I wanted Pepsi, I would ask for Pepsi. And so brand insistence is where you go, I only drink Coke. You know, I hate Pepsi. I shouldn't say that, but I don't like Pepsi. So I only drink Diet Coke. That's brand insistence. I will only buy Apple products. I will only use iPhones. That's brand insistence, right? Mm-hmm. Brand advocacy is the highest you can be on the branding ladder. And that's when somebody else is selling you instead of you selling yourself. Mm-hmm. That's when somebody says, Chrissy, go Google this. What are they doing? They're selling Google. Mm-hmm. Go Xerox this. Chill out, have a Coke.
Right.
You know, that's brand advocacy. It's always better when someone else sells you than when you sell yourself. When you get your business to brand advocacy, the money is rolling in. You're doing so well because you've built your brand. So branding is number one in proprietary assets. Mm-hmm. The more well-branded you are, the more I can sell your company for, as long as your brand is relevant in the mind of the consumers. Yeah. Meaning, is anybody going to pay any money for Blockbuster? No.
I watched that documentary as well. Very good.
The most valuable brand in the world is, do you know?
Amazon?
Mm-mm. But it is an A.
Oh, tell me.
We just said it, Apple.
Oh, Apple.
Apple is worth $259 billion just for the brand. That's not taking into consideration cash flow, assets, real estate, inventory, accounts receivables. That's just a brand, $259 billion. The other thing that's very valuable is trademarks. Trademark your company name, trademark your podcasts, I trademarked Exit Rich. But here's a mistake that most business owners make. As they start a business, and let's say they start a business in Georgia, they go get a state trademark and they go get their name at GoDaddy. Most people just determine their company name by what domain they can get. Sure. So they go to GoDaddy first. Yay, hooray, I got this domain. Then they go get their state trademark and they never check the federal database to make sure it's available. Mm-hmm. Now that's happened time and time again with podcasts and slogans and, you know, company names. I've seen clients in business for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and all of a sudden receive a cease and desist letter. They have to stop using that company name. Mm-hmm. So go get the federal trademark. It's like $1,500 to $2,000. Protect your company name, your logo, your slogan, you know, anything that's unique to you. Like Exit Rich is unique to me, the ST6Ps, the GPS exit model, all of that's trademarked. Mm-hmm. I have a company that has 12 different products. Each product is exclusive to Walmart, exclusive to Target, exclusive to different chains. Each product has a federal trademark. Mm-hmm. So you don't just trademark names, you trademark products too. Yeah. And strategics will pay more money for that. Patents is another thing. If you watch Shark Tank, every single investor always asks every single inventor, do you have a patent on that? Do you have a patent pending? Do you have a utility patent? Their offer is always contingent upon you having the patent. Mm-hmm. We sold a company for $18 million. It really wasn't making any money, but they had 18 patents. That contracts are huge. Contracts are really big. So contracts with manufacturing, distribution, network marketing that you mentioned earlier, franchisors that have franchisees, any type of exclusive contract. The most valuable contracts to buyers are client contracts, especially if they have a subscription model with recurring revenue. So if you've got members all paying you, you know, $100 a month, Chrissy, that's recurring revenue. Buyers love that. They will pay a higher multiple for that synergy. Yeah. Yeah. Here's a caveat to contracts. If your husband's in private equity, he probably knows this. Most business owners never have the transferability clause in their contracts that says this contract is transferable. And if the buyer is not willing to do a stock sell and clients are not willing to sign consent to transfer, then your deal could fall apart. So you always want to make sure that you're proactive and include that 2-sentence transferability clause. In the 20 years I've been doing it, 1,000 businesses later, I have never came across a company that has transferable contracts. There was an M&A firm that sold to a private equity group. They have 1,500 franchisees. The private equity group paid millions. The due diligence team never looked at the contracts. They had this huge celebratory party, and the franchisees hated the private equity group because they didn't feel like they knew anything about their industry. So none of them transferred over. One transferred over. Within 90 days, they had to file bankruptcy. They sued their entire legal team.
Wow. Wow.
Databases are big. If you have databases, nurture your database. They can be retargeted and repurposed. You could sell that. Facebook paid $19 billion for WhatsApp, and WhatsApp was hemorrhaging. But WhatsApp had a synergy. What we're talking about right now are synergies that strategics and competitors will pay a lot of money for. And so they had 1 billion users, and Facebook knew they could ROI and monetize on that sale. And celebrity endorsements. You've seen Cindy Crawford. She represents Rooms to Go. She's only on one furniture company. We have a client that's being represented by, being endorsed by Oprah. Oprah's like the queen of everything. Lots of competitors and strategics will pay a lot of money for that because they want to get their products in front of the queen.
Yeah.
And radio personalities, Glenn Beck, Kid Craddock Show, they can only endorse one vertical at a time, one skincare, one diet company at a time. But this is all what we call prime digital real estate that buyers will pay a lot of money for. And then e-commerce businesses. If you got any of those top positions on Amazon, Etsy, Wayfair, Modern, eBay, we could sell that for a lot more money, get you a much higher multiple. These are proprietary assets that you want to build on. The fifth P is patrons. Most businesses follow the 80-20 rule, where 80% of their revenue comes from 20% of their clients. So they have customer concentration. We were once selling a manufacturing business, oil manufacturing business. We appraised it for $9.8 million. They had 70% of their revenue tied up in BP contract. We had 550 buyers, narrowed it down to 12 letter of intents. Every single LOI had a contingency in there for that BP contract. We found one strategic that has similar products and services. They have been trying to get into BP for years, for decades, and could never get in. So they said, all right, well, I'll bet everybody else, because if we can get in the door with this company, we can get our stuff in the door. They paid $15 million for a company that appraised for 9.8, $15 million for 70% of the company. They paid 126% more than the original price. Now, that doesn't always happen. That's why I tell my clients, try to have customer diversification, not customer concentration. And then the last P, the most important P to all your listeners, is profits. We're all in business to make money, but lack of profits is never the problem. It's always the symptom of not operating on one of the other 5 Ps. I have clients that come to me and say, Michelle, I have a profit problem. I'm like, no, you have a people problem. No, you have a process problem. If you're running on all 5 Ps, you're going to be profitable. If you're not, you won't.
Love that. This has been enlightening. It's been so valuable. I am ready to read your book right now. And I know everyone else is too. Yes, because so many of the things that you said, I'm like, yes, I teach that. But now I even have more of an understanding and want to even dive deeper to think more about in terms of exit strategy. So thank you for that. This has been super helpful. So let's tell everyone how they can start reading Exit Rich.
So Exit Rich comes out in June, but you don't have to wait till June. You can go to exitrichbook.com, exitrichbook.com for $24.79, which is less than Amazon. We will send you the digital download immediately so you can start reading it today. When the book launches in June, we'll ship the hardcover to your doorstep for no additional shipping cost if you live in the United States. We will give you a lifetime membership into the Exit Rich Book Club that has video content of me talking about these different strategies and techniques and really doing deep dives on each, plus documents to operate your business, documents to sell your business. Sample employee handbooks, non-competes, org charts, policy and procedure manuals, sample letter of intents, purchase agreements, sample due diligence checklist, sample closing docs. All of these documents are there for your review and your immediate download. If you try to recreate these documents, it will cost you over $30,000 with your attorney. And you can use a template. Plus, we're giving you a 30-day free membership in the Club CEOs, which is an entrepreneur mastermind, where we really ask those transformational questions and help business owners build that sustainable, scalable, and when they're ready, sellable business. All for $24.79 at exitrichbook.com.
Love it. Love it. I'm getting off here. I'm going and doing that. I know everyone after you listen, once this airs, you're going to do the same thing. So love that. Where are you hanging out so people can connect with you?
Yep. So I'm everywhere. I'm on Twitter, I'm Instagram, I'm LinkedIn, I'm Facebook. If they want to text Michelle to 888-526-5750. My websites and all my social media pops up so they can follow me and connect with me on LinkedIn. And my main website is seilertucker.com.
Perfect. You guys, it's all going to be in the show notes. So just hop over there, click all the buttons, go to all the places, get yourself a copy of Exit Rich. And Michelle, I'll see you inside your groups.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Christy. It was a pleasure to be with you.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Until next time, remember, done is better than perfect, my friend, and to channel your inner badass and take imperfect action every single day.